One day we noticed that our camera doorbell wasn't working anymore, and we weren't quite sure why it wasn't working. I tried resetting it. I couldn't figure out how to get it to reset. It kept glowing, so it was receiving power, but it just wasn't enough to keep the camera going. Okay, so the story goes that we have the Ring doorbell here, and it was lighting up. So it was flashing blue, and it wasn't working. It was not negotiating with the network or anything like that, but it had power. And when somebody would walk up and hit the button, the doorbell wouldn't ring. Like, oh, what's going on? What's wrong? Well, it turns out that we lost the transformer in the wall up by the bathroom. That's the transformer that converts 120 or 110 high volts to low voltage. It was only pumping out about a volt or so. And you get to the doorbell and you push the button and it wouldn't ding dong at all. So I replaced the transformer in the wall and then replaced the ding dong part because it's old. So now we have a new ding dong device on the wall, and I also bought this $79 battery camera. Now it's a rechargeable battery that recharges through the wires that come to it here, and it's working, and it'll work when there's no power, which is great, and it will still communicate with my network provided that the network has power. So that's terrific. I just want to make sure that the power's on in the wall inside and that everything's working, and I want to make sure that my Destroy Planet label is correct. Okay, that looks great. So now we're going to go in, and that circuit needs to be on, and that's our bathroom circuit. So the bathroom circuit has a breaker for the sink in case you shock yourself. That also manages the power to the doorbell. So if that blows because there's some kind of ground fault, well, it means there's a problem with the circuit or something up here. You don't want it to catch fire. Or something else is wrong. And we've had problems with power going out or my wife using a hairdryer and knocking it out. But we still want the doorbell to work. So now we've got a doorbell in the front with power, which is great, and it has a battery in it just in case. So this is terrific. What I did here was I showed you the evolution of our circuit in our house, going from a plain old doorbell switch to a modern Wi-Fi circuit. Okay, so this is the new Bing Bonger, and you're going to have a red one go in here and a yellow one go in there. Then you have to run the wires out the back through the hole. So red here, yellow here, and the wire going out back through the hole. The yellow one comes back in through the hole and goes there. It's that simple. Remember to set your voltmeter to AC, not DC, and check for about 12 volts. If you have a doorbell camera, more specifically an older one, you might have something that looks like this. So your 120 volts will come in through these three wires, and out of the transformer will come a low voltage circuit. Okay. It's just a red wire that comes in and goes out for me. It could be any color for you. Now, what that does is that provides power to the doorbell switch, which is just a momentary push button. Okay, it's replaced by this camera device right now, but it would be like an old 1960s style doorbell. Okay, you push the button, it makes the connection. So the red wire, as I have it, goes in and comes out and goes over here, and that goes in here. Now, on this older doorbell camera system, there's this little white doodad on the top. The red wire comes in, gets attached to this, then goes out the other side, and it goes out the unit again. So you can see here that I've got the unit wired for the front. So I've got a central common, and then the front doorbell So you could have a rear doorbell, a rear momentary switch for a rear door that could also ring this same doorbell, and that's how this works. But we only have a front doorbell. So remember, this white doodad, all it does is interrupt the red wire coming in, which would normally be attached to one of these two terminals here. Okay, we're here at the world's dirtiest workshop, and I'm going to demonstrate how you can still have a glowing blue doorbell and not have enough power to do a ding-dong or a Wi-Fi negotiation. Now, funny how this works. I'm going to touch the terminals here. So this is set up for AC 200 volts. I'm going to touch the terminals, and you're going to see a brief 0.1 volt release, and then it will go back to 0. Let's make sure that I've got a good hot connection there. There you go. See how I touch that and it goes to 0.1. Ooh, wow. I didn't even have both leads on. Yeah, look at that. So less than a volt AC, right? And then it suddenly just drops back down to 0. And this has got to be the shakiest test bed I've ever produced. You can't see it, but I've got an extension cord back here, and I might as well just show it to you. I got an extension cord back there, and I've got it all wired to the outlet. So, okay, see how that extension cord is just coming down here and running around everything and getting plugged in? This is how you do a test bench. Now, this is very shaky. Don't plug in the black wire until you're sure you've got it grounded. Otherwise, you could, well, zap yourself and stop your heart. Very, very dangerous. So don't play with electricity unless you know what you're doing. But this is how you would test it. You would power it up, and then you would put your terminals, your test terminals, to the silver parts of the transformer. And it would show you 0.1 volts. And that is just enough to power the doorbell, the ding-dong doorbell outside, right? Not the inside one, but the outside one, the one where the button is. The button, because it's LED, modern tech, will light up, and it might even spin or glow or something. And the doorbell won't work because you've got less than a volt of power going to it. How much is supposed to go to it? 12 to 14 volts, right? So this transformer's blown, and that's how you're sure. This newer design looks more like the old original design with a simple doorbell. You don't have a sender in it, and you can have an extra camera in there, such as the one shown in the lower right. This is the list of things that have to be done to make the new system work, but it's not the same for every system.